Oyuna başla. Full screen'de abi.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Serkan, kendine dikkat et abi, görüşürüz. Peki. Gidelim böyle bir. Dışarı çıkalım. Kimse yok madem ofiste. ...480, 428, ne yapıyorsun?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Toplantı odası. Ay, çok parlak. Acaba buralarda bulunacak bir şey var mı ki? Easter egg tarzı falan. Neyse, gidelim bakalım. Ne yazıyor orada? I had Mondays mi yazıyor?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Peki. Ben sağdan girmek istiyorum ya.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Sırf aynen kalmak için değil mi? Aslında amacım çalışan odasını o odayı görmek değildi. Tamam.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Hadi gidelim. Coffee nuts.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Eyvallah. Biz hep böyleyiz.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Abi
Someone
aşağı
you've
inebiliyoruz.
forgotten
İnelim mi
about.
aşağı? Aşağı inelim mi? Aşağı inelim mi?
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm
Abi
asking
şuradan
for
gidesim
you.
vardı ya. Orada kapı açıktı. Hala gidemeyiz. Aydın, aleykümselam. Ya ben oraya gitmek istiyorum. Koşma var mı oyunda? Yok.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem
Şansımı deneyeyim mi?
to put your work aside.
Zıplama yokmuş oyunda.
But in
Zıplama.
his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Eyvallah. Eyvallah. O en
All
baştan
of his
başladı.
co-workers were gone.
Ben o kapıyı
What
merak
could it
ediyorum
mean?
abi.
Stanley
Ben oraya
decided to
gideceğim.
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tamam abi. İyi eğlenceler.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley
Ben
knew
oraya
it
gitmek
perfectly
istiyorum.
well. Perhaps he wanted to stop
Tamam,
by the
gideceğiz,
employee lounge
gideceğiz.
first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room.
Evet, harikulade bir
But
oda, aynen.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Önce bir oraya bakalım, oradan gidelim abi.
Stanley was so bad at following directions.
Şu kapı
it's
kapalı, o
incredible
kapı
he
açık
wasn't
ama orası bir yere
5 years
gidiyor.
ago.
Solda bir yere gidiyor da önce bir sağa gitmek
Look,
istiyorum.
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Acaba
There's
düşsek
someone
ölür
you've
müyüz
been
buradan?
neglecting,
Bu hesapta.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me
Yok,
prove
korku
it.
değil abi.
Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Acaba başa mı döndük? Ya herhalde
Now
korku
listen
değil.
carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Uyalım mı? Hadi uyalım bu sefer ya, yeter.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
Ardan,
The
aleykümselam.
problem is all these choices. The two of us
Hoş geldin.
always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I
Mavi
wanted to
kapıya mı
stop.
gidiyoruz abi? Ne?
I
Görüyorum
would,
satır.
we would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think, well, I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
İçerisi niye siyah? Ha? Anlatıcı bey. Giriyorum bak. Gelmiş aksanla konuşanlar.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Hmm?
Bura nere?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Yok yok, korku değil abi. Anlaşılıyor, temiz konuşuyor ya.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Tamam, geri döndüm.
Right. Where were we?
Tam dakikalarca buna mı bakacağız? Gidelim mi? Şimdi git.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Sana başka ne yapabilirim ki yani şu an? Ölürsek bir de direkt konferansa
Please,
gitmeyi
no,
deneyeceğim.
Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Beni öldürtüyor. Buranın çıkışı yok. Aynen, oyun öl diyor. Oha, çok iyi. Zıplama yok oyunda.
No! Oh,
Ölmedim.
thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please... No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Tamam, döndüm. Dönüp ne yapacağım?
See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Tamam, bu kadar beklemek yeter. Go.
Stanley, go back.
Aynen.
There's nothing good that can come from this.
Öyle yapacağım, başka bir şey yok. Çıkmaza girdik çünkü şu an.
Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Ya bir sus, boş yapma. Güvenmiyorum sana bu saatten sonra. Beni çıkmaza getirdin.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Ölemiyoruz
Maybe
ki.
you'll just get... Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Buradan atlasak
I wanted us to
atlayamıyoruz.
be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Abi hangi troll bu oyun şeyini ya, bölümlerini yazdı, gözünü seveyim ya. Kendimi öldürmek için ne yapabilirim? Hiçbir şey yapamam buradan.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Direkt konferansa gidiyoruz bu sefer. Let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Soldan
When
değil mi?
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Health of persons. Do something in the... Devam mı? Dinlemedim ben, özür dilerim. Aha, kapılar açılıyormuş lan.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Daha da yukarı. Oh, patrona bak. 103 metrekare. Allah, adamın şahsi banyosu var ya. Ayıp ya. Boss, ben
Stepping
geldim.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845. Değil mi? Bir dakika, nereye şey yapacaktık? Nereyle etkileşime girmemiz gerekiyordu?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Lan ey kombinasyonu.
2845.
Arayayım mı? Telefon mu? Ne? 2845. Aa, tamam buldum. 845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Nereye açıldı? Ha. Oha. Oğlum senin nasıl fantezilerin var lan? Ben nasıl birinin emrinin altında çalışıyorum? Düşersek ölürüz muhtemelen. Düşmeyelim. Galiba olabilir. Olabilir abi.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facilities.
Escape. Escape. Yok, merak ediyorum. Merak ediyorum abi. Kaçalım mı? Mind Control'e mi girelim? Escape mi? Ama merak ediyorum. Ama en baştan da başlamak istemiyorum. Ben mind control yapacağım galiba. Kapanmayın. Dur.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
İlginç. Biz kaçtık? Fired. Hangi oda? 104 mü? Biz kaçtık? 214 müydük? ...214 şurası. Zoom yok değil mi oyunda? Asansör.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Nereye geldik?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Çünkü kendi kontrolünden. Facility power. Aşağısına ölür müyüz lan aşağı insek? Önce bir odayı keşfedelim. Muhtemelen burayı açmak için şunu yeşil yapmak lazım. Onu yeşil yapmak için bu kablo nereye gidiyor? Bu ne? Aşağı mı iniyor kablo? Yukarısı nereye gidiyor? Duvardaki şeylere bas. Duvardaki. Tamam. Ha, 4 numara. Bir sırası var mı peki? Tuşlar var duvarlarda, onlara bas. 1 2 3 4 diye mi gitmem lazım acaba? Ekranda gösterilen 3 orası. Galiba 1 2 3 4 diye gitmem lazım. Benim yanındaki ekranı da kör. Beş orada. Ekranda bir yazıya bire bas. Tamam. Dur bulayım. Console disabled. Aha bir. 2. 3 orada, 4 yukarıda, 5 burada. Dört. Zıplama olsa keşke, direkt aşağı atlamak istiyorum ya. Çalışacaksa biz bir şansımızı deneyelim bak. 5 6 da mı var?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.